slippy below. It wasn't as much as yesterday, but it's still very sizable. I've already just told you that. So I am a bear. I am an equity bear in that market, right? With that amount of sell side gamma, I become an equity bear if I find liquidity being added on the short side. Do you understand? I keep saying, do you understand? And nobody answers. So I'm assuming nobody understands, or I'm assuming everybody understands. So it's just one of those things. We'll just crack on. So when I see the liquidity being added on the offer, which is visible from the prem, and I start looking at the rotation of the business that was happening at the same time, they were rotating into the bear side business here, then we can start to read this as a trade. And obviously the rip to the downside is very, 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 very strong indeed. Very strong indeed. And obviously it's up to us to start recognizing just how strong that rip was and try and grab it, try and take advantage of it. But the volume was part of the giveaway on that trade there, guys. That volume is part of that story. It's volume plus rotation plus liquidity plus gamma. Those three elements all taken together is the story of the marketplace, is the story of the marketplace. That's the idea of what I'm trying to grab out of this trade here. And obviously that takeaway has been brutal. As I said, it's not as much as yesterday, but it's still pretty big. Still quite a big sell-off potential in terms of how slippy the gammas have got below the bottom edge of the marketplace here. So I like that sell trade. I'm not trying to buy it. So when I see a buy opportunity, I'm only taking profits. So for example, there was a buy opportunity in here. I'm not seeing the big volumes, and I'm not seeing the big volumes, and then I start seeing another possible buy opportunity in here. And at that stage, we're trading 20s from 30s. It's worthwhile taking 10 points on that bit of business. But I'm trying to get back into that short trade. I'm trying to be short for these breaks lower. You can see again that this rotation is bearish. My job is to try and find a little bit of a top line that I can sell into against that bearishness. I'm trying to find that. Remember, this is a stochastic based indicator. It's not going to be trending in that sense, and we can obviously have to be patient for that sell to come back in. Well, here it comes. Look, see the volume that comes in? You can see the rotation goes bearish, the rotation goes bearish, the liquidity is being added on the offer. I've got a top edge, and then I get a huge surge in volume. That's my sell. That should be your sell. That should be the trade you're all looking for right there. That should be the deal of the day right there. And obviously that's the start of another phase, 43.28s this time. And obviously what happened to that 43.28, we got this rip to the downside, which was sensational. And we've got all the way down to the bottom edge. You can see it changed around into the bottom edges here. You can see that just since we've been speaking, this has now given you the rip to the upside. This is now bullish off the bottom edges. Bidding into the low prints here would have made a lot of sense. Obviously the low print was here, so that's where your buy trade should be trying to find a bit of traction in here for that reversal part of the trade right there. Right there. So you'd have been looking at that big volume down candle, and you'd have been looking at this phase here, and you'd have been trying to buy into that for that rip off the bottom edges. Well, when it reaches a threshold, Miguel, when it reaches a threshold, it's very difficult to go any lower, but that is still a sell program potentially, remember. That could be a genuine sell program, and at that stage it was a genuine sell program. Why? Because the value was dropping. So there was a genuine sell program that kicked off from that price. You know, so when I see that, I'm certainly not going to buy against it. But when the sell program is getting a reversal coming into the marketplace, now there was obviously buy programs, the value was bullish and the price was getting manipulated lower. I really like that for a buyable opportunity. And off she goes. It just rips off the bottom edges. It's beautiful. It's part of it. When you look back at that chart, you simply can't not see what I'm seeing. When you look back at that chart, you can see that sell trade at the top edge divergence. You can see that buy trade at the bottom edge. It stands out like crystal clear. Now, obviously, I'm seeing additional information. You know, I'm seeing, for example, the amount of gamma that's coming in from my own data, and obviously the gamma's like rock bottom edge bearish. I mean, it really is not good. It's not a good look at all for the gamma, and that's something that we just have to acknowledge, that it's not good from the gamma perspective. You know, there's a lot of bearishness in the whole shape of the marketplace. It's being offset by a little bit more speculative punters coming in at lower prices in terms of buying some speculative calls into these kind of areas here, buying speculative calls, and it's taking some of the pressure off the dealers at lower prices. And that's okay. We can work around that. You know, we can work around that. But how much of a speculative call is coming in? Not a lot at the moment, but it's enough just to allow the buyers to have at least some confidence to buy into these low prints. And you can see what happened just on that low print there. You can see what happened on that low print. The turnaround from that sell was genuinely good, solid bit of volume coming back in the retest and here. And then as soon as that's gone off the lows and you see that coming in, you know there's added liquidity in here. You can take a little pop at some of that business. And obviously the pop at that business just there has had a very, very strong positive impact on price. We've came off of 20s, we've reached up to high price of 26s. Life is good. But you've got to be rapid on these guys. This is the real world of floor trading, right? Well, it's actually not the real world of floor trading. It's the real world of algorithmic trading. You know, but it gives you an idea about the pace of action sometimes happening on the floor. Every second is second. Every second is a prisoner when you're trying to trade this type of stuff. This is rapid. By the time you've seen it on your screens, by the time you're seeing my screen, it's already too late. The trade's been done.